Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mast, and today I wanted to make a quick video talking about the new channel that I just created, which is where Smite content will be going for the foreseeable future, and that this channel will now be Deadlock only for the foreseeable future. This is something I talked about recently in at least one of the Smite 2 videos that I uploaded a few days ago. I made a YouTube post about it like a day and a half ago, but I wanted to do a quick video so that anybody missing the YouTube post can see that, can know about the channel, and that anybody who wants a little more info can watch this video and I can explain things a little bit. So if you are here for Deadlock, if you're enjoying the Deadlock, nothing is going to change here. It's just, I'm just going to continue to upload Deadlock. If anything, it should get more consistent here on this channel. And I'm just going to prioritize it like even more. On this new channel, which is called Half Mast, I gave into the meme name people were offering up a few months ago when I made my variety channel. On Half Mast, we will be uploading Smite, at least in the short term. I'll be trying to upload Smite once every 2 days. And at least once every 2 days. Like for now, I have 3 Smite 1 videos recorded that I'm just planning to upload daily. But I'm assuming people want to see Smite 2, so I'll try and sprinkle Smite 2 in between those videos if I can. So I think very short term it'll be daily, and then from there we'll just see how much time I have, as well as how content I am to play Smite 1 and or Smite 2. And then also kind of feel out what you guys are thinking as well between those 2 games and what you're enjoying more. So that it'll be like the old videos. It'll literally just be the same thing. I won't have as much time to record those videos, but like it'll just be like old Smite recording was on this channel, and it'll just be over there. The reason for that, we can talk about that first. The reason for that, some people seem confused. It is terrible to double upload games on YouTube for the most part. There are some games that are similar enough that it's fine, and if it's more of a variety channel, it's fine. But Deadlock and Smite, even though they are both technically third-person MOBAs, don't share enough of a realm, and part of that is just the scale of potential between the games. Deadlock is literally going to be a bigger game than Smite. Like, it's already a bigger game than Smite, which is crazy because it's invite-only and it's insanely early access alpha. So, like, there's not enough of a reason to upload both, and so Smite content, ironically, because it's been the focus of the channel for years, literally detracts from my Deadlock content. I've already been growing a lot of subscribers and viewers from Deadlock this early on, and that's only going to dramatically increase as we eventually hit some sort of open beta where it's no longer invite only. Tons of players come in. I will get like an absolutely massive boost in views, and then eventually there will be full release, and the same thing will happen. I'm already effectively the #1 Deadlock YouTuber right now, as far as I'm aware. I think technically Mikhail S gets more views. That doesn't really mean anything because he's just the #1 player. So it's basically just him uploading good games, being the #1 player, which are good, by the way. If you want to see the #1 player play, he is one of the few really high level players, like again, at least #1 EU, that is like actually chill. He's not whiny. Great player to watch. But in terms of being like an actual like straight up content creator, as far as I'm aware on YouTube, I'm already literally #1. So obviously the direction for the channel to go with the game that I'm having a ton of fun with and is already successful for me is to focus on Deadlock, because there's just an insane amount of potential. For a long time now, literally since like season 8 in Smite, I have just been capped. I don't know how many people are like aware of that or understand that. I literally cannot grow more in Smite. It is physically impossible. I already became the #1 Smite YouTuber. The only thing that ever put into question was how often I was uploading. Like just the Smite community is too small. Like I reached everybody that cares, right? I reached everybody that watches YouTube. So it just makes sense to focus on Deadlock with the main channel and just continue to go forward with that. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess we can talk a little bit more about that, and that some people seem a little out of the loop on how big Deadlock is. Because I've gotten, I don't know, like people are always going to be out of the loop, everything. It's really easy to see like vocal minority comments that are like, you really don't know what's going on sometimes. So like Deadlock already has significantly more Steam players at the moment, even though it's fallen off a lot, than Smite has like at peak. Like Deadlock right now is in a spot where the vast majority of players that wanted access in the early access version of the game that is currently available have already like gotten it and then potentially just kind of waited for it to cook more. And it's still holding like 30K steady Steam players at any given time. Or maybe not any given time. Is that peak right now? I don't remember, but like 30K given Steam players at super early access. And for a while now, Smite is like 10 to 15K, and that has massively fallen off a cliff in Smite 2. So right now, Smite 2 is often 2K or less, and Smite 1 is like 5K. So it's already night and day. So it just makes sense where player base wise and already viewership wise, I literally get more out of recording Deadlock, and I enjoy Deadlock more, and Deadlock will grow massively in the future. So it's just the way that makes sense, man. Like, it'd be kind of the equivalent of if I used to be a Pred YouTuber and then found Smite and grew through Smite. Of course, Smite would become the focus of this channel, and I'd make a new channel for Pred, because Pred's got a tiny player base. And ironically, Smite is doing so poorly right now that at least Smite 2, I think, is similar to Pred in player base. I haven't checked to make sure, but like Smite 2 is really struggling at the moment. Not that many people are playing it and not that many people have bought it. And that makes sense because I still think Smite 1 is more polished. So I'm not trying to shit on Smite at all. I have specifically re-recorded this to try and make sure, because people tend to get a little upset if I say literally anything about Deadlock being a better game. Because I literally do think it's a better game. This isn't about like being mad at Smite and thinking Smite's not good enough. This is just, I think Deadlock is what Smite could have been with a much larger, much like, what's the better term for it? Valve is like one of the highest quality dev studios in the entire world for multiplayer games. I'm pretty sure their employees literally get paid more than any other dev studio. Valve's like a legendary company to get a job at. So when Valve makes a third-person MOBA, it's not Deadlock 2, it is just Deadlock. This is them cooking fresh in 2024, unlike Smite kind of, mostly just bringing Smite from 10 years ago over to a new engine with a significantly smaller, significantly less funded studio. It just makes sense that, naturally Valve's going to be able to cook a lot. And I think a lot of the stuff they've done is really, really cool. And it is kind of weird to look back at Smite after playing Deadlock, because there is such a massive gap in mechanics that are available. I think a lot of the kits in Deadlock have a lot more flexibility and intrigue. I think the item system's more interesting. I think the movement just is more interesting. You can't even argue that. You have dashes, jumps, verticality, all sorts of crazy stuff. There's so many different things in that game that are really interesting, and it's really fun to play already, and they are massively updating it every 2 weeks. It keeps changing a lot. Just this week, there were a ton of ability reworks. There was a bunch of art stuff done to one of the lanes where you can see, oh, they're coming up with ideas to really start polishing the art, and it's a crazy difference. There are so many different things that are happening, and for it to already be growing so much in terms of the just the potential of the game when it's probably still at least a year away is just such a good sign for it. And that Valve is not even trying to advertise it, really. They're really just, you guys can play the game if you want, you can invite friends if you want, because they're not remotely trying to actually fully publish it yet, because they're still just trying to cook. So I am very excited for the future of that, but of course I still enjoy Smite. Smite 2 is all right. Smite 2 I really do think needs more time to cook. It was weird going back and recording those Smite 1 videos recently that I'm going to be uploading onto that new channel over the next few days, where it feels so much cleaner to play Smite 1. I don't know how much of it's the ping diff, because I do get stuck on NA East for Smite 2 and I can play NA West for Smite 1. I don't think that much of it was the ping diff. I think it really does feel even cleaner compared to Smite 2 than I was remembering, where like there just aren't stutters. Everything just feels smooth to play. And part of that is because Smite 2 just has those things where literally no matter what your computer is, there are going to be a little bit of performance issues going on. Whereas Smite 1, like if you just have a good computer, it should just be smooth and play clean all the time. So Smite 2, even though it's releasing in a couple months, I'm afraid even the release probably isn't going to feel quite as clean as you'd like for a full release. But yeah, I think that basically sums stuff up. I will, at least in the short term, be recording Smite pretty regularly on that channel. I also have my variety channel where I will be trying to upload Skyrim stuff. At least for the moment, Skyrim stuff, it's going to change pretty soon because Baldur's Gate's going to do a big update. But like variety stuff is going to be going up there. At the moment, I'm doing Skyrim and I'm trying to upload that 2 times a week. Going forward, there'll be other variety stuff. Maybe someday Tarkov unfucks itself and gets a little more fun and I can try and put some time into Tarkov, do some Tarkov content over there. Probably not going to bother because I feel like the game actively gets worse for the most part each patch. But Baldur's Gate has a big update coming soon, so I'm excited to anybody that enjoyed the Baldur's Gate content back when I streamed it, back when I recorded it for that little gap like a year ago. We'll probably have some more going up there in January, I think, when that goes up. But yeah, I don't know. It's honestly, it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen in the future. It's hard to tell for sure. There's a chance that the Deadlock player base gets into a really weird spot. Right now, it's been pretty consistently trending downwards just because there was a big spike in popularity when you're getting all sorts of streamers like Lyric, Shroud, etc. playing it. People are like, oh shit, what is this? Let me get an invite. And it's past that phase. So naturally, it's just the amount of people slowly falling off, and it's still got a good player base because it's just a fun game, but like naturally people are just fading out because almost nobody's coming in, right? So maybe that fades so hard that I get to a point where it's like, well, I literally need to focus on a game that has like a bigger player base. I don't really see that happening though. So I think the thing that will happen is I will continue to focus on that, but then I'll try and still make time as long as it's fun to record Smite on the side. Because of course I still love Smite, right? Like it's been 10 years of me playing this game. It is one of my favorite games of all time. The big thing is just Deadlock really feels like similar to Smite in so many ways, but they just got to cook like crazy with other things that Smite doesn't have. So it's just kind of a fun new thing that expands on so many things that Smite's already touched on, right? But that should do it for the video. I feel like I've already repeated myself kind of 2 or 3 times. It's a little bit tricky. I kind of want to just make sure I clarify everything for people that are, I don't know, that are interested in finding out about it. So I know I've kind of gone over the same topic a little bit, but I'm just kind of trying to like round out the gaps or whatever, if that makes any sense. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one.